Number 12 is the latest investigative piece by award-winning undercover journalist Anas Anas. The imminent release of Anas's piece, which is focused on the Ghana Football Association, has yet to show, but as typical of Anas's exposés, feathers are already being ruffled. Already the GFA's president, Kwesi Nyantakyi, is being investigated after President Akufo-Addo saw excerpts of the video and reported to the police CID. A press conference described as hasty by somebody like Kweku Bako, which was organized by the Deputy Chief of Staff, Abujinapo, says Kwesi Nyantakyi was to be investigated for defrauding by false pretense because in the video he is reportedly saying he has the president and his vice in his pocket and demanded money to influence their decision. Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Japan, is one of the few who have started questioning the modus operandi of Anas. To what end many have questioned? Well, we will take a critical look at Anas's methods with some investigative journalists. I have two of them joining me for this conversation. On phone is Barbara Among. She is a Ugandan editor and board member of African Investigative Journalists. She's joining me over the phone. Barbara, thank you so much for your time. Musikilu Mujid is also a Nigerian award-winning investigative journalist and editor-in-chief at Nigerian's Premium Times. He also joined us. On the phone will be Kofi Yeboah. He's the General Secretary of the Ghana Journalists Association, and they have just released a statement demanding special protection for Anas and his family. In the meantime, let's bring you this video of Kennedy Ejapong raising concerns over the operations of Anas and some allegations that he makes against him. His book on Adum TV.
That matches from UK and Dubai. We challenge Anas. We cannot allow this rot to go on in this country. Hell no, it's not going to happen. I'm asking, say, Anas, you matter a damn can see what is sitting now. Kofinti should go and check. Why not say Kofinti is your demonstration? He uses a police officer called. Now I go after IG. Why is it that Anas, who is he? That constant 24/7 that they are basic police officer who strip him naked. And he has to see who Anas is. And when we finish today, I'll bring you more evidence and pictures. Medical show on the TV station so that Kwakuba Akone Nekas Omukosiwa Omusiume.
That is Kennedy Ejapong, the Member of Parliament for Asin Central. He also threatened to unmask Anas. And if you know Anas, he rarely shows his face. He doesn't actually show his face. He always has something to cover up because he's into investigations and he doesn't want people or expose himself to the public. Well, the Member of Parliament has already gone ahead to release some supposed photos of Anas on his television station Net2 TV. It appears that the Tiger Eye PI, which belongs to Anas, has a response for Kennedy Ejapong in this video.
You think Anas has the right to do what he does? Is it allowed? Say who could show? They have to stop him. Somebody should take him to court now to stop him from what he's doing. It's a pure blackmail to himself. So lawful or for one children. Right is enough.
All right, so it's been like a battle between Anas and Kennedy Ejapong, Member of Parliament for Asin Central. Let's get on with the discussion here. As I indicated, I have Barbara Among. She is a Ugandan editor and board member of the African Investigative Journalists. Hello, Barbara.
Good evening.
Barbara, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Great, great. Good to have you join us. Let me also acknowledge Musikilu Mujid, who is in Nigeria. He's an award-winning investigative journalist and editor-in-chief at Nigerian's Premium Times, Nigerian investigative journalist as well. Sir, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Great.
Thank you.
Let me also indicate that we do have the General Secretary of the Ghana Journalists Association, Kofi Yeboah, who is also on the telephone line with me. Mr. Yeboah, thank you so much for your time.
You're most welcome.
Okay. Now, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Yeboah. You just released a press statement in which you're asking for, you're demanding police protection for Anas. Where exactly are you taking this letter? Are you directing it to specific authorities or specific places?
I thank you very much once more. And as you rightly said, yesterday we picked some signals, and that prompted our issuing of the press statement. And we have had to do so because we thought the information we received were very serious. You know, Anas has been doing this for a very long time, and it has never happened that a DJ had to issue a press statement, even though some of his work had equally generated a lot of controversy here and there. But once the information we take suggested that death threats were being issued, then we felt it's appropriate to prompt the police to provide him with the needed security.
Let me bring in Musikilu to start with. Musikilu, you've been in this business for a while now, and I believe that you have the background. Just in case you don't, now Anas is about to release one of his works, and already the president of the Ghana Football Association, who we understand is in the video, saying that he has the Ghanaian president and the vice president in his pocket, and in African parlance, I must put it that way, basically he can control them, was demanding money for them so he can influence some sort of decisions that they were supposed to take relating some deals. Now, that video was shown the presidency. The presidency organized a press conference quickly announcing that the president had made a report to the CID that the president of the Ghana Football Association be picked up and investigated. He is under investigation. We understand that he's on bail now. Following after that, we have a member of parliament here who has been making a lot of scathing comments against Anas's work. He's spoken about Anas's methods and says that he himself is involved in some sort of shady deals which he is threatening to bring out. One of the things that he did, the member of parliament did, was to put out Anas's photo on a TV station that he owns. And by doing so, a lot of people have said that you are putting the guy's life in danger. Let me take your initial thoughts about the way this story is panning out, and then we can take it away from there.
You know, the people are receiving hand of investigative journalism. We hope this regards. And I'm sure Anas is aware that his work is going to cause this kind of reaction. So what is important? I think the Ghana Journalists Association has done the right thing. So, and the government has to protect Anas. And we hope, I know Anas that I know, I've known Anas for 15 years. And I'm sure that he knows what he's doing. He knows that federals would want the investigation. And so I don't think there's any cause for alarm. I've followed the story in Nigeria. I believe in Anas' work, and I believe about the authenticity of his method. And I think Ghana will be better this latest.
Let me bring Barbara into the discussion. Barbara, what are your thoughts?
Unfortunately, the sound was not very clear. Could you just quickly summarize for me what the gentleman said?
Okay, I want to. Do you have a background to the information or to the story and how it's unfolded so far about Anas's work that is about to go on air? We understand that it will be premiered on June 6th, and already there's the member of parliament here in Ghana who has started his own sort of campaign against Anas's work. And one of the things he has done, which a lot of people don't seem very comfortable about, is release a photo of Anas, a supposed photo of Anas on a television that he owns. One of the reasons why he did this, of course, is to expose him. People say that you're exposing him to danger. He has done a lot of investigative work. People are not happy about. In fact, people are on his tail trying to get him. So if you put a photo purportedly to be him out there, you're exposing him to danger. The Ghana Journalists Association here today, this afternoon, has released a statement demanding some sort of police protection for Anas. And I'm wondering what your initial thoughts as someone who sits on the African Investigative Journalist, organization is. What are your thoughts?
What Anas is doing and what is done before and what he's doing right now, he is holding public officials to account. In Africa, where watchdog institutions are toothless, in Africa where transparency is not a culture in any government, what Anas is doing is to expose the officials. Is just doing his work as a journalist. Is performing his watchdog role. So when the member of parliament and other government officials and the football association come to threaten him, they're threatening him because he is actually doing his role as a journalist. So I am very happy that Ghana Journalists Association have come up to demand for security, to demand for protection. And I believe that other African investigative associations will actually do the same. The Forum for African Investigative Reporters will actually do the same. Demand for his protection, demand for his security, because he is playing his role as a journalist. He is fulfilling the purpose of journalism.
We will talk about his methods, which a lot of people have questioned. They say that his methods fall short of journalistic standards, some sort of journalistic standards, if you should put that yardstick to it strictly. We'll speak about that. But you say that you're excited that the Ghana journalist has stepped in, etc. But does it give you the impression? Let me start this question with you, Musikilu. Does it give us the impression that investigative journalism is under some sort of threat? There are people who look up to Anas, for example, for the work that he has done over the years. Will actions like these, and I have a colleague whose face we don't put on TV, for example, because we're trying to protect him. He's into investigative journalism. How does this, acts like these, like what's been done by the Member of Parliament, threaten investigative journalism, especially in Africa?
Well, definitely, investigative journalists are always in danger in Africa. So many journalists have been killed in Africa. Some have been imprisoned. Some have been attacked in whatever way. So from Nigeria to Senegal to South Africa to everywhere around the continent, investigative journalists are under attack. Of course, the job has to be done. Somebody has to hold government institutions to account, and that has to be done. Job has to be done, and as who we respect, whose work that follow him, understand the implications of his work. And so, he has consistently in danger. And that's the point about our policy, that African journalists must begin to come together to supposition as period ID. Others have trained in Nigeria, they have investigated, they have partnered with a lot of Nigerian values to uncover some shady Nigeria. And so those of us in Nigeria watching what is unfolding in Ghana, we are solidly behind Anas.
Okay.
Whatever we can do to ensure it remains, continue the good, we are going to do so.
And let me come to you, Barbara. We'll be wrapping up this conversation soon. I don't know, Mr. Yeboah, are you still with us on the line?
Yes, I am. I am on the line.
Okay, I'll come to you briefly, but Barbara, let me just find out from you. Speaking of Anas's work and how everybody is supporting him, there have been questions raised about his methods. People say entrapment isn't necessarily okay if you should measure that strictly by journalistic yardstick. What do you make of that? Barbara?
I have read about it, and I have listened to people question the method that he uses to present his stories, the method he uses to collect information. I have read about it, but let's face the truth. In Africa, where there's so much secrecy, where there's lack of transparency, that journalists always have to steal documents. Journalists have to spend months looking for documents because the government officials do not respect the access to information rights that journalists have. Now, in a situation where we are faced with this dilemma every single day in Africa, how do you expect a journalist to access information? And because of this, it justifies some of the methods that Anas uses to access information, because we are living in a continent where secrecy is the norm among the public officials. So because of this secrecy, because of this culture, it justifies some of the methods, some of the ways that Anas uses to access information, that he uses to present this information. The only way that these public officials can get answers to what they're demanding from journalists across Africa is by them respecting their request for access to information. We would not be going undercover, and Anas would not be going undercover if they had respected that right. So the end justifies the means that the journalists are serving the interest of the public, the greater interest, the greater good of the public. And for me, my final word is that the role of journalism, is to comfort the afflicted, the ordinary people who have been afflicted. Their role is to comfort the afflicted, and on the other hand, to afflict the comfort. If we cannot afflict the comfort in government, in high position, then what are our purpose guarantee?
This will be my final question to all of you, gentlemen and lady. And let me start with you, Mr. Yeboah. Thank you so much for your patience, having been on the line for us still. If you were Anas in this particular case, you've done some work. The work has yet to come out, but you're getting this back. Now the conversation seemed to be more about what seemed to be like a battle between Kennedy Japan and Anas, rather than the substantive matter, apparently. Mr. Yeboah, what would you do?
That is a tough one. I wouldn't want to be in Anas's shoes at all, because already the young man has made a lot of sacrifices, and he doesn't have a social life like you and I. He's unable to do a lot of things as you and I will be able to do. So I think already he's sacrificed his life a lot. And so to have this in addition to that would be a burden. And I think I wouldn't want to be in his shoes at all. If I were him, probably I will want to keep away from public entirely. And so,
but then what do you think that the comments, or do you think that the allegations that Mr. Kennedy Japan makes are anything worth looking into?
Allegations like What?
Allegations like he owns a lot of properties upon which he is not paying dues, I mean certain dues, and that you know, he makes some skin allegations with, and he says that he's got documents to prove it.
Yeah, I don't find any substance in that allegation. The Constitution is very clear. At Article 162+3, it gives everybody the opportunity to practice as a journalist. So he may also go undercover and bring out the evidence to the allegation he's making. But just to throw out issues and expect everyone to run with those issues, I don't think it is the right thing to do.
Musikilu, let me come to you. What would be your final word, and what do you think are the options available to Anas at the moment? If you were him, perhaps, what would you have done in this situation?
Sorry that I've been echoing. I'm getting echo back as I speak to you, other money. Well, for me, I think that Anna should stand firm. He should go ahead to release the investigation. But the Ghana police should provide security for him. The Ghana Journalists Association should stand firm behind it. The Ghanaian government should realize that the entire world, Anna should not only release this particular investigation, it should continue to hold government and institutions and individuals accountable in Ghana. We need that kind of work, and it should never.
Okay. Well, let me give you the final word, Barbara, on this.
First of all, congratulations, Anna.
You want me to repeat the question? Say that again, Barbara.
What I'm saying is, right now, what Anas needs to do is to keep that, is to protect himself. Also, right now,
I'm having a difficulty hearing that. If you could perhaps reposition a little for your final words.
What I'm saying is right now, it's about just to come up and speak as one voice, protect one of their own. Now the call is that of the Ghana Journalists Association to stand up for us.
Barbara, I would so love to hear what Barbara is saying, but unfortunately the line it just got bad. But gentlemen and lady, thank you so much for your time in discussing this. I've been talking to Musikilu Mujid. Musikilu is a Nigerian investigative journalist. He's also editor-in-chief at Nigeria's Premium Times. Musikilu, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I also spoke to Barbara Among. Barbara Among is a Ugandan editor, and she is a board member of African Investigative Journalists. Now I also spoke to our own Yeboah. Mr. Yeboah is the General Secretary for the Ghana Journalists Association, which is demanding police protection for Anas. Mr. Yeboah, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now let's go on to social media and hear what you've been saying and putting out there. I mean, the pictures have been on, a lot of comments flying all over the place. Let's see what people are saying quickly before we close the chapter on this discussion. I don't get the name. If we could go down a little bit, I could get the name and then we go through it. Walanyo Akwetia says, has someone ordered Kennedy Japan to look for Anas for us? He should stop wasting our data and time. Small-scale miners are suffering and starving, and you are exposing useless pictures of someone you don't know. Anas is not a wanted man in Ghana by the police or FBI. So what do we need his so-called pictures for? Regards to Chairman Freddie Blay. Victor Marcus Caesar says, could it be that the picture, you want to say the pictures being sent are true reflection of Anas? And you laugh. Francis Anoche says, how many countries on earth are blessed with a treasure like Anas? Well-meaning countries should seek his protection while the course of law have its way. as events unfold. But my people are of their own breed, hypocrites who love evil more than God/Allah they profess. Nothing on earth can convince me that there's nothing wrong with the black skin, especially that of Ghanaian leaders. Black-minded individuals walking in black-coated, disguised evil faces, always seeking evil just to satisfy their bloodthirsty, devilish desires. This sounds like a very frustrated Francis Anoche. Nana Adjoa Pokusaforo says, why? And if he is not against anybody but doing real investigations, how can he be afraid of his life and family? In the police administration, don't they do well, I'm not getting that. He said, please, Ghanaians are more discerning than ever by the grace of God. Those are some of your comments on social media there.